Hello there, and welcome to Her Money Mindset, the podcast where we talk about all things money, mindset, and how our relationship with finances shapes our lives. I'm Courtney Schweingler, and I am so excited to have you here. This podcast is for women who want to take control of their financial futures, transform the way they think about money, and finally break free from any limiting beliefs or fears surrounding their finances. Now, whether you're just starting out on your money journey, you're looking to build wealth, or you want to get clear on your financial goals, this show is for you. Here on Her Money Mindset, we're diving deep into topics like budgeting, saving, investing, and everything in between. But we're not just talking numbers and strategies. We're digging into the real reasons why so many of us struggle with money in the first place. Our mindset around money plays a huge role in how we handle it, and it's about time we got real with it. I'll be sharing tips and tools to help you feel more confident in your financial decisions, but we'll also be exploring how your personal history, upbringing, and past experiences with money can influence how you manage it today. It's time to heal that relationship with money and make it work for you. So, if you are ready to shift your mindset, build the life you deserve, and start making your money work for you, then you're in the right place. I cannot wait to take this journey with you. Now, before we jump into this episode, let's go over some basics. If you are finally ready to make a difference in your financial life, but you want something that's self paced, check out my Budgeting Basics bundle. This is a digital pack filled with the exact tools that I use to stop living paycheck to paycheck and start feeling confident with my finances. Inside, you will get my signature budgeting template, a debt payoff tracker, savings challenges, and so much more, with my favorite one being a 2-week budget bootcamp to help you get back on track and fast. So, if you're ready for a fresh start with your money without having the major overwhelm, this bundle is exactly where I would have you begin. You can grab it now using the link in the show notes, and make sure that you use code HMM podcast to get 15% off. This is a podcast exclusive discount code to say thank you for you guys being such wonderful, loyal listeners. Now, if you know that you want help with your money and your money habits, but you want something faster than self paced work, personalized, and someone to directly hold you accountable, sign up for private one on one coaching with me. I'll have the link in the show notes for you. You can either do a one-time one-on-one strategy call to answer your budgeting basics, get your budget set up, and get you on your way, or you can do my 12-week private coaching program for more accountability, structure, and motivation. Make sure you sign up today for a free consultation call with the link in the show notes. Also, please leave a review or a rating of the podcast. This is such a great way to tell me and others that you enjoy this podcast, and it is quick. It will take less than 2 minutes of your time. And you guys, I cannot even believe it, but this is my 50th episode of Her Money Mindset, which is just the coolest freaking thing ever. So, for this weekend only, so Halloween weekend, my all of my products will be 50% off. No need to use a discount code. It will be from October 31st until Monday, which, what is that, November 3rd. All of the products that I have, so the Budgeting Basics bundle, the mortgage payoff calculator, the one-on-one strategy call with me, that will all be 50% off as a way to celebrate my 50th freaking podcast episode, you guys. Most podcasts actually don't make it past, I think it's their first 10 episodes. So I'm super excited to celebrate this milestone and make sure that you go take advantage of this amazing sale while it lasts this weekend only. Now, let's dive into today's episode. Why you keep falling off your budget even when you know what to do. Now, I'm so glad that you're here today because this episode honestly probably might be one of the most relatable ones that I've done so far. And we're going to be talking about why you keep falling off your budget even when you know what to do. You know that you know what to do, but for some reason it's just not working, right? You've read the finance books, you've downloaded some spreadsheets, you've had those this time I'm going to stick to it moments, but then you end up back in the same spot a few weeks later, staring at your bank account, wondering where in the heck your paycheck went. And I get it. Truly, I do, because I've been there. You start strong. You tell yourself, okay, this is it. No more takeout. I'm tracking everything. I'm doing this. And then life happens, especially if you have kids. A bill you forgot about, a bad day, the grocery run that somehow magically costs double in this economy. Your kids are sick. Like my kids were so sick, like the middle 2 weeks of October. It was just a mess. And then you fall off, and then the guilt hits, and then you think, what is wrong with me? I know better. Why do I keep making the same mistakes? But here's the truth, okay? You don't fall off your budget because you're lazy or because you're bad with money. You fall off because budgeting is not just math. It's emotional, it's human, and it's layered, it's complex. It has habits, beliefs, and triggers that just a spreadsheet can't fix on its own. So, today we're going to kind of get real, and we're going to kind of talk about why this happens and what to do about it so you can finally stick to your plan without feeling like you're in this constant guilt and burnout spiral. So, let's start here. When you fall off your budget, your brain is automatically going to label it as a failure. But this is not failure, it's feedback. And I talked a little bit about this in Tuesday's episode as well, episode 49. So if you haven't listened to that one, go listen to it, because these two episodes pair really well together and they go hand in hand. So I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I'm actually trying to do that a little bit more. I'm trying to have Tuesday's episode complement Friday's episode to kind of make it more like lesson based. So Tuesdays are more strategic and then Fridays are more emotional. So I don't know if you guys like that. If you do, DM me on Instagram, leave a rating or a review, let me know. But I figured I'd kind of experiment with the way that I do the podcast. So anyways, all that being said, if you haven't listened to episode 49 yet, go listen to that one and then come back and finish this one. But anyways, like I was saying, so you're not failing with your budget. You're getting feedback from your budget. Your budget is showing you what's not working. It's showing you where your systems are not matching your life. And it's showing you where your expectations might honestly be kind of freaking unrealistic for you, right? And I understand that maybe the budget looks perfect on paper, but it's not leaving room for flexibility, and that is a problem. It doesn't account for you being tired after work and wanting takeout. It doesn't include your emotional spending triggers. It doesn't give you breathing room when a week is chaotic. And that is exactly where you start to lose your momentum. Because if your budget feels too restrictive and if it feels like punishment, your brain is not going to cooperate. It's not going to. Every single time. Okay? I'm telling you that right now. Your brain is not going to cooperate if it feels boxed into a corner and if it feels like you just have to do it, right? You want to feel like you have a choice. You want to feel like you have the ability to enjoy nice things in your life still. So, let me give you a real life example. So, when I first started budgeting years ago, I would make these perfectly color coded spreadsheets. I would download like $2 ones off of Etsy. I would have every dollar assigned, every category would be clean, it would be precise. But then within a week, something would throw it off. Maybe it was a last minute birthday gift, maybe it was a car repair, or honestly, it was just me being freaking exhausted and grabbing food on the way home from work, right? And every time I would spiral, I would think, see, I can't do this. I'll never be consistent. I'm awful with money. I'll never get ahead. And that's the shame cycle that we all get trapped in. But now listen up. Here's what finally changed everything for me. I stopped trying to build a perfect budget and I started building one that worked for real life. Real life, you guys. So, let's talk about the emotional side of budgeting because this is where most people go wrong, like I kind of mentioned earlier. When your budget feels like restriction, it's going to activate the same part of your brain that feels deprivation. So you're going to start to rebel against your own rules. And this is exactly why no spend months and spend nothing challenges might feel good at first, but oftentimes they actually lead to bigger spending later because you're using willpower to control what should be built on your own alignment with your goals and your values. So it's not that you need a stricter budget. You need a smarter one. You need a more flexible one. You need one that accounts for you being human. So I want you to ask yourself, do I have a plan for when I'm tired and don't feel like cooking? Because please be so serious with me. You and I both know there is at least one night out of the month where you're way too tired and you don't feel like cooking. I want you to ask yourself, do I have a small guilt-free spending amount every month? Does my budget reflect my actual values or just what I think it should look like? And that last one is a pretty important question, right? Because a lot of us are building our budgets around what looks responsible, around where we should be, but we're not building the budget around what's realistic. So you're not necessarily failing your budget. Your budget is failing you because you are not setting it up properly. So these are usually the three core reasons why people are going to fall off of their budgets. So you don't have any flexibility, you have no system for tracking your spending easily, and you have no emotional connection. This is a really big one. This one goes back to money mindset. And like I always say, it would not be a Her Money Mindset episode if we did not talk about money mindset. So when you're not connected to why you're budgeting in the first place, you're going to be focused on the numbers and not the purpose. So it's going to be a lot easier to quit when you don't really have any value tied to why you're budgeting. So when you start to understand those three things, the no flexibility, no system for tracking your spending easily, and no emotional connection, you're going to notice a shift in your understanding. And you're going to notice a change in the way you do your budget because your budget is going to become something that supports you and you're not going to feel like you're shut down. It's not going to feel like a dreadful, awful thing anymore. And that is exactly when you're going to notice that your consistency finally starts to happen and when the budgeting finally feels sustainable for you. Okay, so let's pause here for just a second because if this is hitting home for you, there are two tools that I recommend that you grab right now. So the first one is my Budgeting Basics bundle. This is the exact system I use and teach to help you build a realistic, flexible budget that actually fits your lifestyle. You can get it linked below in the show notes or through my bio through the link in my bio of any of my socials. It's simple, it's visual, and it includes everything from expense tracking to saving challenges, which is perfect if you are ready to stop starting over every month. And remember, for this weekend only, it is half off. So this is the perfect time to grab it. And second, if you're not earning any interest on your savings right now, you have got to switch that up today. I personally use SoFi, which gives you a much higher yield than most traditional banks, and this is where I keep both my personal and my business savings. You can check them out with the link in my show notes or in the bio of any of my socials to open your own account. And as a bonus, they even will give you cash when you sign up through my link. Also, if you have been following along here for a while, I've got something really special coming for Black Friday, and I can't say too much yet, but let's just say, if you have been thinking about working with me or getting one of my signature programs, you absolutely want to keep an eye out. It is seriously going to be the best deal I've ever offered. All right, let's get back to the episode. So let's talk about what's really underneath falling off your budget. Because most of the time, like we're saying, like I have been preaching this entire episode because I really truly want this to come through to you. It's not about the numbers. No one cares about the freaking numbers, okay? It's about your emotions. We use spending to self-soothe, to reward ourselves, to distract ourselves, or to avoid the hard things that are going on in our life. You'll tell yourself, I deserve this. And honestly, you probably do. But when it's happening because you're stressed, you're tired, or you're overwhelmed, that's exactly when it's going to start working against you and it's not helpful for you anymore. And then you add shame on top of that, and shame is going to kill your progress. Because when you feel ashamed, you're going to stop checking in. You're going to hide from your numbers. But when you have awareness, even messy awareness, that is going to keep you moving forward. So the next time you fall off, instead of beating yourself up, I want you to ask yourself, what triggered this? What was I feeling in the moment? And what was I trying to avoid? You're going to notice patterns. And when you name these patterns and you acknowledge these patterns, you take away the power that they have. Okay? Now, here's another truth for you guys. Your budget is a relationship. You have a relationship with money. And just like any relationship, you have to have communication and trust. And if you're consistently ghosting your budget until payday and then only checking it when you're broke, you're not going to feel stable in your relationship, right? You have to check in with it regularly, even if it's just for a few minutes every couple of days, if that's all you can handle. Think about it like you're checking in with a friend. You're nurturing the relationship, you're reminding that friend that you care about them, you're building consistency, and the best part of it is your consistency is going to become confidence. So you're going to start trusting yourself with money again naturally because you're being consistent. So you have to go into the mindset of resetting when you've fallen off instead of restarting. So there's a huge difference between the two. Restarting means you're going back to zero and you're erasing all the progress that you've made. And resetting means picking up where you left off without the shame, doing that money check in, doing that check in with your friend, money, right? And adjusting what didn't work. So, like I said, look at your budget and ask, where did things get off track? What can I adjust moving forward? What would make this process easier next time? And that's how you're going to build lifelong, sustainable money habits instead of the consistent cycle of shame and overspending and guilt and all of the just nasty stuff, right? And I want to say this, okay? You're not behind. You're not bad at this. You're just learning. You're just learning. That's okay. You're allowed to learn. You're allowed to learn how to do things, right? And every single budget fall off is a part of the learning process. Budgeting is not about perfection. I say this all the time. If you listen to my episodes, you know that I preach that budgeting is not about perfection. It's about progress. It's about consistency. It's about giving yourself grace and being honest with yourself. Because every time you come back, you're building a stronger foundation for your financial freedom, for having financial peace, for being able to just swipe your card at the grocery store without having to check the bank balance a million times beforehand, right? So give yourself permission to be human in this process because the truth is, the most financially successful people that I know are not the ones who never mess up. They're the ones who always come back. They always come back. They always checking with their money and they always acknowledge, okay, I made a mistake. What can I do to learn from it? Right? All right. Let's wrap this up with some encouragement and some next steps. If you want to rebuild your budget in a way that actually works, not just for this month, but for real life, I would start with the Budgeting Basics bundle. The bundle is linked in the show notes, and it's the foundation that I wish I had when I got started. And if you're ready to take your money plan to the next level, check out SoFi using the link below. This is the high yield savings account that I use and recommend, and this truly is one of the easiest ways to make your money work for you passively. Now, for those of you who are ready for deeper support, you can book a one-time one-on-one strategy call with me If you want help designing your exact money plan and breaking through the patterns keeping you stuck. Or if you are ready for full transformation, my signature 12-week private coaching program, Her Money Method, is where we dive deep into your mindset, your habits, and your long-term plan to completely change your relationship with money. And because you're a podcast listener, you can use code HMM podcast for 15% off your budgeting basics bundle or a strategy call as a thank you for being here. And one last thing before you go, if you found this episode helpful, it truly would mean the world if you would take a second to leave a rating or a review wherever you are listening. This helps more women find the show and join this movement of taking back control of their finances. Remember, falling off does not mean that you failed. It means that you are human. And every single time you come back, you're building strength. I am so proud of you for showing up here today. I will see you in the next episode. And don't forget to keep an eye out for that Black Friday surprise. You are not going to want to miss it. And also, a little side note, happy Halloween. I know this episode is coming out on Halloween. I hope you guys have a wonderful, candy filled, safe Halloween. I would love to know what your costumes are. If you guys are going to dress up, what you guys are doing. So head over to my Instagram, which is at hermoneymindset_, and send me a DM with a picture or send me a DM of what you enjoyed about this podcast episode. I would love to hear from you guys. I hope you guys have the best weekend, the best Halloween. And remember, like I said, make sure you keep an eye out for that Black Friday surprise. Join my email list. Follow me on my socials. Keep showing up for the podcast because you're not going to want to miss it. Bye, guys.